Hi there. Today we're going to replace this broken LCD on a Lenovo Thinkpad E570. I'm going to start by unplugging it and removing the battery. Now the screen itself is just held in with this plastic bezel with no screws. Use a spludger or even your fingernails. So just get underneath here, pull this back with your fingers. What I find really handy is to use a card, something under there, and then work your way across, unsnapping everything. And you can work your way up the sides. Okay, I've already loosened this one, but it's pretty much the same thing. You're just going to basically pop the screen off all the way across. I recommend starting across the bottom, up the sides, and then the top, and then this whole bezel just pulls off like this. There are 4 screws in the corners, just a Phillips screwdriver. What you need to do is remove those screws, which I have already done. Screws are done. And then we can flip the old screen out. And in the back here, you're going to want to peel back this tape. There's a little tiny clip here that just flips up. It's the retention clip. And once that's up, you can just very carefully pull back this 30-pin connector here. All right. I recommend pulling the screen out before you order your new one, because you'll find the part number right here for the replacement screen. There are a couple of different variations. There's a matte and glossy version. There's an HD version and the 1080p and the 720p. You just want to make sure that you get the right one. And we will go ahead and install the new screen. And the new screen's here. Time to replace it. I got mine at laptopscreen.com. There's the old screen and the new one. Everything looks really good. Let's go ahead and install it. So installing it's going to be pretty much the reverse of what we just did. I stuck this bubble wrap envelope down here on top of the keyboard just to help hold the screen and keep anything from getting scratched. Let's go ahead and reconnect our 30-pin connector. Make sure you flip that little clip up and just snap it in place. Okay. And flip the little clip down. And just make sure that that clip clicks in place. I used a little plastic tool and just push down on the corners, and you can sort of feel it click. Then just reset that tape from earlier. And we'll put it back in. Just make sure you put this cable back where it came from and tuck it in nicely. We'll put the panel back in. Go ahead and lift it into place. Now we just need to replace these 4 screws, which we can do. I always like to just put them in very lightly until we get all the screws in, and then tighten them up afterward. Okay, I've got all the screws tightened down. Before I put the bezel back on, I'm just going to test it. So I'm going to put the battery back in and power it back up. Battery's in. Looks good. All right. I'll let it boot up, shut it down, and then I'm going to take the battery out and put the bezel back in. All right. Now you probably don't need to remove the battery to do this, but better safe than sorry. Check that your screen, if it has one of these plastic covers, you're going to have to take that off now. It's going to be a lot more difficult to take off once the bezel's on. All right, and in this case, what we're going to do is the reverse of how we took the bezel off. Just put it back where it came. Make sure it's nicely lined up. And let's just start at the top and slowly press it back into place, just gently. Go down the sides. And then across the bottom. Notice the clips are along the bottom, so just slowly go across. All the clips. You can see if there are high parts, so that's where you'll want to check the clip. But it looks like we've got it all now. All right. And that's it. Good luck.